Okay, guys, we are gonna get started. First off, I want to thank everyone so much for coming. My name is Stevie. I'm the team leader of this brokerage, and I've put together this event that I'm so excited about. I just want to, you might have noticed that we're missing a panelist. Unfortunately, Taylor last minute couldn't make it, so she won't be joining us tonight, but we'll be sure to get her on something for the future. So I just want to introduce the ladies that you guys are going to be hearing speak tonight. They are all incredible women who have big businesses. Every single one of them on this panel is either a mom and or a powerful woman in the industry. And they all have very different businesses. They all work in different areas. They all use different strategies. So we're going to get to hear a little bit about that tonight, which I'm super excited for. So we have Jasmine Lee, we have Kelsey Baxter, Bethany King, and Jay Huxley. Too quickly before we get started. Jasmine so kindly has brought in a giveaway. So it's a little board that says #Dreams for Life. So what we're going to do is anyone in the room who takes like a story or a photo or whatever of the event, if you can tag Jasmine, you're not allowed to draw by the end, okay? Okay, so you can win this, all right? Awesome. Okay, and then we have our amazing moderator who is Stephanie Sobe. Stephanie is also in this industry. She's so incredibly relatable, and I couldn't think of like anyone better to moderate this. So
thank you.
I am going to hand it over to Stephanie. And also, sorry guys, hold on. Feel free to refill yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. And like to what Stevie just said too, guys, like this is a casual setting. Okay, I want everyone to feel comfortable and feel safe. Yeah, that's important, especially in our industry, guys, where we are all in this together, every one of us here. Whether you're mortgages or you're an agent or you're a lawyer, this is for everybody. And kudos to the guys that showed up. You guys are awesome. The girls were saying that we were so happy that you guys showed up because, right? It does mean a lot. Oh, there's your clients.
And they're good friends with my kids. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So good. Yeah, so thank you all so much for coming. I know a lot of you came during dinner with you have your kids. It was a little bit challenging to get here, but you made it because it was important to you. So thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Suave. I'm a real estate broker. I've been with Keller Williams from the beginning. I've never searched for anything else. I'm very happy to be here. We are definitely a family and we're an open book. And I hope that tonight we can open up our playbooks for you and give you real solid examples. Even if you come out of this with one thing, it's huge, right? So we'll start the night by getting to know our ladies. I know some of you might be following them on social media, maybe you've heard their name. But what I wanted to start off tonight was just to get to know them a little bit. What is your background story, ladies? Like, give us a little bit about who you are, how you started, and why you do what you do every single day. What is your why? Do you want to start, MJ?
Sure.
Amazing.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So fun to be here. Looking forward to chatting with everybody tonight. So I'm MJ. I've had my real estate license for 16 years.
Thanks.
And I currently am the team leader and director of sales at Campbell Real Estate Team. So a bit about me. Somebody said to me, "You're like sunshine with a little bit of hurricane." I didn't know she might be offended.
Yeah.
But actually, that is me, right?
Yeah.
I am the proud mother of 2 boys who are here this evening. A couple of things that you might not know about me that are unique. I was an expat for many years. I lived in Bermuda and Tokyo.
Wow.
Had kids in both of those countries.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I still, every year, for the last 26 years, consecutively get together with the same 5 girls for Girls Weekend in October. And that's pretty unique. And we met in Bermuda, and we have gotten together every year in the fall, regardless of where we live.
Nice.
our only excuse is if you're in the hospital, okay, you get a pass.
Yeah.
And you know what, we've been at different stages of our life. Some of us have had kids, some of
Right.
us have, most of them have very big careers. And we make it work.
Love that.
Love that. So, you know, real estate's a great career for sure. And happy I chose that. It's my second career. My first career was as a brand manager with Procter & Gamble. And that's what brought me, part of what brought me to work overseas. Yeah. So that's a little bit about me.
Your
Okay.
big why.
My big why, well, there's two big whys and they're sitting in this room and it's.
Aww.
To be honest.
There we go, right?
Love that.
We just started.
Started here. Love that. Thank you for sharing so much.
You're welcome.
Beth, if you want to go next.
Yeah, hi, I'm Bethany. I'm your typical average millennial. I went to school and got the education and, you know, I went to school for fashion actually, and I worked corporate for Hudson's Bay. I worked in fashion buying. I was part of the Kleinfeld team and we brought Kleinfeld to Yes We Rested Toronto. And then I went from there to the federal government in finance and I did that for a while. And, you know, no matter what I did, I could never buy a house, right? My parents thought they were so proud of me that I had all these stable jobs and I had like, you know, benefits and a pension and I was still living paycheck to paycheck. So that's my story. And I lived in their basement for 6 years. And I just busted my ass selling real estate, and then I bought a house down the street from them.
Nice.
And you know, I run my business through social media, through Instagram and TikTok, and I pretty much just kind of share exactly what I did, and it resonates with a lot of people. I'm really outspoken about racism, obviously helping minorities, helping, you know, just like vulnerable people. And I have a 7-year-old daughter.
Wow.
And she's a diva. She's a diva. So my fiance plays basketball. He's playing for Ottawa Blackjacks right now.
Oh,
awesome.
And, yeah, and I have a small team. This is Larissa. She's on my team. And that's just a little bit about me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what would you say your big why is? Why do you do what you do every day?
My why is obviously my daughter, but I get a lot of satisfaction from helping other people make money. Whether it's our clients making money or whether it's like our other, you know, younger generations getting into real estate so that they don't have to go through the same struggles and the same pain that I went through.
Right.
So I enjoy doing that a lot, you know?
Yeah, helping them out.
Yeah.
She's ready for her intro. She's like, I don't want to say anything.
You're
Yeah.
It's your
Hi,
time.
my name is Kelsey. I've been in real estate for about 7 years now. The first year I was a licensed, not a licensed assistant, an unlicensed assistant. And the second I got my license, I quit. And I said, I'm doing this for myself. I don't want to work for anybody else. That is a big why for me too, actually. It's just I really wanted to build my own path instead of making somebody else money and working on somebody else's hours. I have a 2-year-old daughter. Her name is Aubrey. She's a little crazy, spunky little lady. She's definitely my big why. My big why's changed, I guess, over time as I've been doing this for 7 years. I think my big why at the beginning was more so to be self-employed, to be my own boss, to be confident and stuff like that. But now that I've had my daughter, I just want to be a good role model for her.
I love that so much. And I think right though too, right? Like I feel it's true, like our big why does change.
Yeah.
And as we grow and our children grow, and even if you don't have kids, right? Like your big why changes all the time and it'll probably change again every other year, right?
Yep,
And so,
absolutely.
and consistently asking yourself that, like, I know sometimes someone puts us on the spot and we might not have an answer, so it gives you an opportunity to kind of sit in visualization, like what does that look like, right? What does your big why look like? And that could be anything, but it sounds like so far it's a lot of these ladies have families of their own and are hitting pretty big goals as being moms in the industry too. Yeah.
Thank you,
Go ahead, love.
everybody. My name is Jasmine Lee, and thank you for coming out tonight. It's huge. for me.
Yes.
It was like
Good
rain and
turnout.
hail
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
thunderstorms dinner time, and I was like, listen, if your kid's crazy, I'm gonna have to email college and tell them to come get me. But listen, I started real estate in 2004. I got into real estate right after high school, and in the
Wow.
beginning it was just like, it was a boys club. It was a very male dominated club. It did not look like this. And I was searching for a mentor in this business. And I remember reaching out to this woman and she never responded to me, period. I emailed and like maybe she's busy. Then I called her, there was nothing. So a big why for me was like wanting these goals with these men in our office. And then I feel like now it's more like pouring into realtors because I'm 18 years in real estate. So buyer, pre-approval, consult, selling houses, listing houses is kind of like, you know it, right? But pouring to an agent and showing them, planting seeds in them and seeing them bear fruit and just hitting their goals, it's another level of like, wow. So I think that's my new why.
Yeah, I love that.
And I also have a 7-year-old like Bethany,
Oh,
the
wow.
CEO of our company, and he has so much fun. I had 2 Zoom calls today. He was like, "Hey, mom, you forgot to make my lunch" in the Zoom call. And you know, before COVID, it would be like, "Oh my gosh, you can't have the kids in your meetings, you know,
Yes,
hide them."
so
I'm
true.
like, listen, he dances sometimes he sings, like sometimes he messages clients and he sends gifts on my behalf, like the gifts, the animated gifts. So you just include them in your business.
Yes.
Don't hide the kids
That's
anymore.
right.
Close deals for you.
Don't
Exactly. Like I'm telling him,
That's
he's
what
on my
I'm doing.
Instagram, right? And he was almost gonna come here tonight, but I just don't know what to expect from him, so. So thank you for having us, guys, thank you so much.
I love that so much. That hits home. Like, I know Stevie and I have talked a lot about that, how important it is to show everyone your life because they're falling in love, guys, with not just, there are so many realtors in this business. They like you for who you are, right? And I think it's showing that side of yourself. That's huge, right? Because all of us are very different yet alike. And who's for you might be for some, you know what I mean? And so if you
And
don't,
everybody can sell real
and that's the
estate.
thing.
Like, you've got your real estate license.
Exactly,
y'all know
and that's the
what to
thing,
do.
right? Like, that's
It's-
exactly it.
How do you add value?
How do
or
you add
How
value?
are you unique? And how
Yes.
do you attract, you know, pretty much like-minded people? Because
Right.
we're all not the same, but we can all sell real estate. It isn't about actually doing the deal.
And it's not
Right?
necessarily as uncomfortable as it was back in the day, like, 6 years ago when I sat in this chair, the people at the front of the panel were very different and said, keep your private life separate from your business, right? And that's what it was when I first started, and that was not even long ago. And to think how many waves we've made in such a short amount of time and like feeling comfortable and not having to imitate what somebody else is doing, but just authentically shining from within yourself sounds very similar for everyone here. I wanted to ask you ladies specifically, like currently as it stands, what does your business look like? Like, what is it structured like? And where are you getting your business from for people here who don't know you, who are trying to source leads and prospects and trying to maybe just start a business? And for those of us who already have a business and are looking to level up to the next level. If you want to start, yeah.
Sure. So I run a team. So the team business comes from a lot of lead gen, a lot of cold calling. I have a team member here, another one in there. 4th male, 5th male in the room, so thank you for coming and supporting me tonight. So it is a lot, it's very different than my own personal business, but a lot of lead gen, we use different lead sources to give our agents leads, as well as they have to work their own databases, right? So we have a philosophy on our team and some systems in place that there's different types of databases that you need to be using. It isn't just your Max database. There's 6 different types of databases that you can be building to bring in business, depending on what your situation is. Me personally, primarily, all of my business is referrals. And I've become, and it's nice and it's kind of weird, I've become like the family real estate agent. Like you would go to a family doctor, you bring your entire family to the doctor, y'all go to the dentist, and now my clients' kids are buying houses and their parents need their parents, so the 80-year-olds are needing to sell their homes and go into assisted living or whatever. So my business is 100% referral.
What did that look like in the beginning for you before the referrals started to roll in?
So it's and people shouldn't get excited, but my first year in the business, my GCI was 250, and I paid 50% of that to my mentor. So I did have a mentor. It's very important to have somebody that will show you the ropes because it is a big fish tank and you're a guppy and there's a lot of sharks in the water. So you need to learn to build your business ethically and the right way. And sometimes it's longer to make good money, but you will have a better, stronger business and better referral system that way. But yeah, I had my license. I had a listing before I even paid my insurance. So I had to get, my mentor was Emily Fusco of Avenue Realty, who now they just bought a Keller Williams brokerage. And I said, Emily, like, I need you to put your sign up, and as soon as I pay the insurance and all the paperwork gets through, you know, my name will go on the rider. And it was like that, and it was literally, you need one client or one family, and it's one sale or it's one buy, and it's just step by step, and that's literally how I grew my business.
So would you say then you leveraged the first few business deals that you had, and then, you know, use them as your ammunition in order for you to continue to maybe reach out to your database and chat with them?
You know, in those days, we weren't really working our databases, we were working our networking systems. So I have friends and clients here tonight who, it was through hockey. And I think the important thing to know is we all have to go out and do cold calling, and you need to do a variety of different things to build your business. But in the beginning, you start off with people you know. And the beauty of that is people know you. They don't care. You don't have to ask them, do you want to sell your house? Right? They know you, they trust you, you've built a relationship. So when it comes to real estate and transacting, there's that trust built already. So that's where you need to start when you're just starting out.
So building the
100%,
trust,
but
networking.
and working your circle,
Mhm.
right? But
Your
you
sphere,
also
yeah.
have to do the other types of lead gen, so that when you're in Met's database and transacting, you still have business coming in.
So for people who don't know what that means here, if you could just chat about Met, like what is a METS?
Well, that is, you know, we have a conversation about what is a Met, didn't we, see this week, and not see, but a Met is somebody that you've met, but you obtain their contact information, and that goes into a database or gets tagged in your database as a Met. So somebody you've actually met. They don't need to want to transact, but that you've met them, you have the contact information.
So you're basically nurturing them through the
Yeah.
life cycle
People
of
you know that
conversation.
are, you know, and hopefully they support you in your business. So whether it's sending your, you know, doing your touch programs.
Almost
your
like a warm
newsletters.
lead,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah, people you know, right? And you're not really asking them for business. I don't think I've ever asked
Staying top of
anybody
mind.
for business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's a
Interesting,
way- yeah.
interesting, different perspective, right? So you're gonna hear everyone's perspective tonight, guys. So like, you know, she's saying not necessarily asking for the business right away, but instead building that relationship and that friendship first, like through hockey, through the
Yeah.
community, through events.
Through people you know,
People
and
you know.
I mean, there's other ways you have to, you know, other
I love that.
databases.
Yeah.
So,
And it worked for you and you partnered in the beginning and
yeah.
your business is a little bit
Yeah.
different now, but it's evolved,
Yeah,
right,
and
through the
it's-
years.
I've been a solo agent
Okay.
most of my career until a few months ago. Colin talked me into being his team leader. But it's good. I wouldn't change anything, actually. It's keeping me on my toes.
Thank you so much for sharing that, MJ. How about yourself, Lev? What would you say your business looks like now? How did it start? Where is your business, majority of your business coming from today?
So I run my business primarily through social media, TikTok. Last year, that was probably about 90% of my business came from TikTok.
TikTok.
And then
Wow.
we use tech and social media and no paid ads, no cold calling, no nothing.
Authentic.
Yeah,
Organic lead
100%
generation.
Organic, and then the rest of that is like my database or referral.
Yeah, love that.
And the amazing thing with social media is that you can do all of those things that you're
Mhm.
talking about. Like you can build rapport, right? You can geo-target people who like coffee.
Yeah.
You
Can I ask
find
you a
your people.
question? I don't
Absolutely.
know if we're like that.
Yeah, of course. Open mic.
So do you
Yeah.
hire
Open mic.
somebody to do that, or in the beginning you did it, or now you hired somebody to run that part of it?
No, I do it. I do it.
That's your lead gen,
It's
right?
just so different than
Lead gen.
how
That's your lead
I
gen.
run my business, right?
Yeah.
That's-
Like,
I
and
do it.
I hear this from my team, MJ's, you
Yeah.
need to do this
I know.
more, we need to do that, and it's kind of foreign to me, so I'm just
Yeah.
in love with this.
Yeah, it's really exciting, you know, you look at your other forms.
Like, it actually works.
It actually works really well.
Yeah.
And you can track analytics, right? So
Right.
on our pages,
Yeah.
we might have like 3 million views in a certain amount of time.
Those are goals. Make it up.
So that's
3 million.
3 million views. We better quit making TikToks.
So we run our business through there, and then from there, there's AI technology that will do a lot of automation, because
Beautiful.
I'm an extremely lazy agent.
Well, you also have a family too, right?
Yeah.
So that's what people are probably wondering,
Yeah.
how does she do all that? Like, right?
Yeah,
How long did it take you to build up your social media business?
2 months. Good question.
2
What?
months?
2 months on TikTok, yeah.
What was like the biggest thing that you did to get that to where you are?
Good question. So I had TikTok, I think in 2020, and I just kind of was like consuming and just like laughing and not really posting.
Does that mean like scrolling through?
Yes. And then I started posting, and I posted like 5 TikToks about real estate. And my first video that went viral, I was showing, and it was purely not to even get clients. Like when I tell you that I enjoy to help the younger generation make money and not have to struggle the same way that I do, it's genuine. Because I showed them like, look at how much money I made this month selling real estate. And I did 5 deals and I made like $60,000. And that was my first viral video. And it had like millions of views within like a 24-hour period. I remember I couldn't sleep because my phone was like, bing, bing, bing. I'm like, oh my God, like, oh my God, what's happening? And then I told my manager, he's like, why did you do that? I'm like, I don't know.
Good thing. That's okay. I would say, well, why would you do that?
It's funny you say that because I'm the same. I love TikTok. I learned so much on TikTok from recipes, from food, everything.
Yeah.
And you actually popped up on my TikTok.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, cheers, girl, you did something right. She already knew you from that. She's been watching for a while.
And they're not informative. It had more searches than Google did in the past like couple of years. And I don't enjoy cold calling. I'm not very good at it. And I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy door knocking. I don't like to put my team members in weird positions. Like Larissa did a listing appointment one time and she didn't check in with me and I almost called the SWAT team. I'm like, I better fucking answer your phone.
Somebody took her from the doorknob.
So do that and make a lot of connections out there. Inspire staff. All the things. And I found what works for me. All the things that you know. And then pick and choose what works. And know that like what might work for Colin back there might not work for you. Right? And we have to be very careful, like it's a dangerous program. I love that. Yeah, it's a serious question. It's a serious question. So the way that we have it set up is, if you followers or people online, they have to fill out a form in order for me to call them. So they give me their info and then I will reach out to them. And then I have a short call with them. And then from there, I decide if we're going to move forward, right? Buyers, I don't meet them face to face until they've come back with the pre-approval. The lender gives me the pre-approval, right? Sellers, while they're on the phone and they're like, I want to sell my house. I said, okay, great. What's your address? And I'm pulling it up to see if they even match.
If it's legit, yes,
Right?
yes.
And if I'm talking to one person and there's 2 people on file, I'm not going to the house until
Yeah.
there's 2 people there, right? So, even as moms and as women, it's just about optimizing our time,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? And another thing that I do, and my manager is really great at it because he's also super paranoid, is that he will take it a step further. Like I had a property, it was like a $4 million listing appointment out in Ancaster. And I was like so excited. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be my big break. I'm gonna be listing, and he was like, wait, Beth. And as I'm driving there, him and the other secretaries in the office are researching the names and they're calling the lawyer and they're checking the public records and they're making sure like who I'm meeting with is safe. And sometimes he's like, text me when you're there and text me, halfway through and then text me when you're done. So those are measures that I put in place because I just want to be, and we have to be.
Because we're out there
There's
meeting
so
strangers.
many- you know.
That's why I said you're the MVP.
Yeah.
You're good, you know.
You know? So that's all you can do, right? And you show up at the door with the paperwork filled out and you're like, sign. And if they don't sign, okay, see you later. I'm busy, right? And that's all you can do, right? Or carry pepper spray.
Love that.
That'll do.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Very different perspectives for sure. Tell us.
Yeah, so something I guess I'm really proud of is the way I've kind of generated leads over time and built a business for myself. When I first started, it was all about people kind of drilling it down your throat that you have to cold call, you have to door knock, you have to do all these things to have a successful business, but I don't think that's true. Like you said, you kind of just have to figure out what works for you. For me, mine has all kind of been very organic. So I grew up in Keswick, which is in Georgina, and that's where I started my license, and that's where I've stayed. So the business that I'm getting is people I went to high school with, their parents. Their parents are selling their family homes and buying new homes, and people I've played soccer with, people I've gone to the gym with, people I've all organically stemmed, and it's kind of carried me along. I'm also on social media too, but not the same kind of extent as you are. I'm not really on TikTok, just I guess on social media in like a personal sense. People want to know who you are as a person. And when they connect with you as a person, they trust you, right? You want to build that trust. And I feel like a lot of business has come my way just from people messaging me and feeling confident that I have their best interests at heart, and I'm not just some suit that wants the next dollar bill, and you're not just a notch on my bedpost, I guess, so to speak, in terms of making more money and closing more deals. I think social media is so important, whether you're on TikTok and you've got 3 million views, or whether you're just posting yourself and allowing people to get to know who you are, and trusting you, and then they'll reach out on their own. So I haven't necessarily had to go out and find business. It's kind of found me. That's not going to work for everybody, but I think a big reason why it did work for me is because I grew up in the same place, and I'm still in that same place. So I've got 28 years of knowing people, of database, of sphere, of their parents, and it's such a huge honor for me for the people that I went to high school with, or people that I knew when I was younger, their parents trusting me. Because when I first started, a huge thing for me was ageism, I suppose, and people being like, I'm 45 years old, I've got kids that are your age, you're 28, why am I going to trust you with my $1.3 million sale? But one of my most recent sales was a girl that I used to just party with in high school, and her parents, she's told her parents about me, and her parents met with me, and they trusted me. And now I actually have a partner named Natalie. Wish she could be here, but she's at the cottage. But she actually works, she's a full-time realtor, but she works part-time at a local bar, and like 80% of her clients have come from her clients to our membership have come from the bar.
I've heard that before too. Like that's a pretty
so
lucrative avenue.
Financially, she does not need to work another
Sure,
job.
but it's
She
lead gen.
solely does it for the lead gen.
lead
So
gen.
She's getting paid for
she's
lead gen,
getting
and there's
paid-
some good tips.
she's getting paid for lead gen. Yeah, exactly. So it's
Don't
almost
get
just,
any ideas, like.
He's like, I'm going to the bar.
He's still doing cold calling.
my best advice is if you are not comfortable with the cold calling and the door knocking, that is okay. Because I was not,
agreed.
and I felt like I was an outsider. I was like, you know what? I don't belong in this business. Like I'm not one of those A-type, call you on the phone, you want to sell your house. I am not that person.
Me neither.
I feel like I am just, I'm the homie. I guess you could say. I'm the person that people trust, and that's what I think has gotten me where I am
I love
today.
that. And when you first started, were you part of a team?
Never. So I've always actually been a solo agent. I've been doing real estate for 7 years, been solo for 6 years up until January of this year. I didn't actually work for Keller Williams until February of this year.
Nice.
My partner and I joined together, and a big reason for that, I think, was because I do have a daughter, and I needed to figure out ways to kind of alleviate, the time management situation.
So does the partnership, do you find, help you with, like she's on vacation,
Yes.
right? So do you find that now that you're at that 6-7 figure, like having that other person is helpful And you have an admin too, didn't you just hire an admin?
We're going to shortly,
Yes,
yes.
so
Yeah,
building
yeah.
that team, has it allowed you more leverage, like time?
Huge, yeah. So when I was on my own, I think I was burning out. So a lot of people will probably come to that point where you get to a point where you're producing so much, you just don't have the capacity, whether it's time capacity or the mental capacity,
Yeah,
the mental
mental.
capacity. I got to a point where I felt like I was drowning. I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. People are demanding
Yeah.
with your time and with your energy and stuff like that. So I almost feel like I was losing a passion for real estate, and joining with her. She's a little bit newer than me. She's got this gusto. So she just helps me kind of, yeah, she helps me kind of bring a little bit more energy, and even if more deals are coming from me than are coming from her, like, it does not matter to me, because that energy that she brings to the table, and that light and that
Love that.
happiness, and she just makes me feel so much more positive about everything I'm doing. It's not a dread, it's like I'm excited.
Love that so
Right?
much.
So yeah, it's been huge for me, not just time management wise, but mentally, I think.
It's a huge
Can I
win
just
for
say
sure.
something on that, Sarah?
Yes.
I think that's so important, Kelsey, because I think one thing that I personally learned in real estate, like, the people that you work with matter. Like, being a solo agent
Yes.
is absolutely great. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but this business can get really lonely when you're by yourself. And I know you were going through a phase of like losing that passion and that burnout, whatever. And you can tell since joining with Natalie, like, you've been reignited, and it's because having colleagues that you come in a place where you work, whether it's a team, whether it's a brokerage, whatever it is, having people to come into every day and just like enjoy the people you work with is so
Crucial.
important. Like, I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, you can still be a solo agent and have those
Absolutely.
connections and have that same environment. You just have to put yourself there. And
Yeah.
I think that's a big reason actually why I changed brokerages, is just,
yeah.
I'd go to the office and nobody was there. And I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs for 8 hours, doing my own thing, not talking to anybody. And I just needed some sort of environment where I could thrive with other people, like-minded people.
Yeah.
And it helps your mental state so much in terms of your own drive and your own ambition and stuff like that. So
And I think like a huge takeaway, like what Stevie just said too, just jumping off of your comment, like, yes, can you thrive in this industry as a solo agent? Yes, right?
Yes,
Like, I know
absolutely you
there's
can.
many
Yep.
people in this crowd here who are not part of a team or have decided to take the route of being on their own for now.
Yep.
And I think that that's totally okay, as long as you have somebody too that has that open door policy for you,
Yep.
right? Like, whether it's your broker of record, your OP, the front desk staff, somebody, because it could be very lonely. And there are a lot of agents that we meet that, don't have anyone, and they quickly fail, or they go back to their other job
Yep.
because of fear, because of scarcity. And so just being aligned and being with the right people, like, even for myself, I've never been at any other brokerage, so I can't really comment on what it looks like, but like, being with KW, they actually care, right? Like, there's somebody here all the time who can pick up the phone, or just walk in, like, there's every door is open. Even if you walk downstairs, the doors are open. There's somebody's door that's open.
Knock on any door.
Yeah, it's okay,
The camaraderie here is good. Yeah.
That's the thing. Doing
Yeah.
masterminds like this, regardless of what brokerage you're part of,
I
right?
don't think many other brokerages are doing this.
No, yeah,
Right? But yeah, there's a huge sense of family at Keller Williams,
yeah.
which is nice, and we're not in competition. I don't come to work every day and think we're in competition with
no.
the team next door to us. There's this really nice sense of camaraderie, and I'll go next door and say, hey, what do you think about this? And they'll come in and say, what do you think about this?
Which is
We're running
nice,
two
yeah.
separate teams doing two separate things, but it's just a very nice culture.
But also,
And there's a lot
like,
of respect.
even for goal setting,
Yeah.
like, when you're a new agent, how many agents are new in
Yeah.
this room? When you're a new
Okay. You
agent,
are, yeah.
you want to be around top performers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's one of the things that I say on TikTok all the time. If you're looking for a brokerage, you just go to an office and see who are the top performers.
Yeah.
How are they getting their
Yeah.
business? What are they
Sit
doing?
with those
Right?
individuals.
So you
You
just
learn
said
how to
that
do
this
that,
evening,
right?
right? Yeah.
That's another huge thing. You could be with an office that's like not producing, you're not gonna produce.
Or they don't want to share because, I mean, typically this business is very cutthroat. You're out, it's
Yeah.
dog eat dog for yourself.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
I
it
think
is, you're like a
it
guppy
is,
and
yeah,
a bunch
yeah.
of sharks.
Yeah.
And it isn't,
It
you know what,
depends.
we're lucky at
Yeah.
Keller Williams, it isn't like that.
Yeah.
Outside of the walls, it
Yeah.
could be,
right?
And I think our environment is changing too, right? Like people in this crowd, they want to know exactly what's going on in our businesses and we're happy to share our playbook. I call it our playbook, right? Like, but Jasmine, I haven't asked you yet. I would love to know about your business, what that looks like now, how you first started and how has it evolved and changed over how long have you been in business for?
Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that question. It's been a while.
She's like, yeah, what was the question?
So I started in 2004 right out of high school, and I remember asking my teacher, Larry Sifwa, I was like, listen, I'm only gonna sell condos because I'm, you know, in my early 20s. He's like, you can sell whatever you want, honey. You're fucking right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so I helped one of our friends' parents sell their condo, and I remember he was like, how old are you? I said, I'll tell you after I sold my condo. So after I told him, he's like, oh, you're younger than me. I was like, so
Yeah.
So and it's like now comparing to what agents are making, I was making rental money back then, like and working my butt off. So business has crazy evolved, and I was saying in the car to my team member Chris, guys, get a CRM. Don't be like me. I was a CRM whore for many, many years. And if I switch CRM again, I swear my team will kill me. Because the shiny object syndrome and all that stuff. But CRM should be your core. It's not the sexy part of real estate, but people want to know that you care about them. Just like realtors, like when you're working with them, they want to know you know them, you know your clients intimately, you remember their birthdays, you're not just business, right? So for us, we just check up on our people. We're never hard selling because we don't want to be hard sold. So we just treat people how we want to be treated. And social media, we just show up authentically. There's sometimes we do camera crew, but most of the time it's just us, babe.
Okay.
She's like, okay. And stories, just share your world because you share who you are, and then when I'm meeting my clients, already like my son, they know his name's the CEO, they don't even call him Cartier. I meet realtors on social media, I meet clients on social media, I meet team members on social media. So just share your world and just open up. There's nothing wrong with that. And you meet great people. So we work on like just energy, really. It's like you put what you want to receive. And if we're getting little funky clients, too many funky clients, we're just like, we gotta do
You're
something.
sending us the right vibes.
We gotta stage
You
somebody.
got, I'm just gonna say that you need to sage.
Somebody in the team needs to get staged or something.
Yeah, Palo Santo's coming out. Like, let's go.
Bad juju.
Online guys, you can Zoom all them. I don't know if you Zoom anybody on online dating, but you can Zoom your buyers and Zoom your sellers. And when it was COVID, I was Zoom dating too. And in your bio, you should have a way for people to book appointments with you so that you can get information from them and then you reach out to them and trust your instincts, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't feel right. It feels like it's gonna be trouble. It doesn't matter. Nothing's worth it.
Say
outside.
no. Say no.
Yeah, say no. And for security that you bring up, there's an app called like 360. Share it with your family so they know where you are and who you're with, and so you don't have to text and check in. It's gonna be weird doing a listing appointment and texting and saying I'm feeling crazy with this client.
I just do 911.
There you go.
When I started in the business, if I sent 911 to the front desk, it was like, yeah, you need to call me right now and I'm picking up and you're saying there's a fire and the house is on fire and the kids are in trouble and I gotta go right
I've
now.
got
right?
find your friends on iPhone.
Yeah.
And I text my fiance and I say, hey, I'm here at this time. If I don't text you in 20 minutes, there's a problem.
Life 360 just tracks you. You can share it with your team, your family, and they just know where you are and when you leave, when you go. Life 360.
Life 360.
Yeah. So database, Life 360 for security, and just really get to know your people intimately. Know their birthdays, get to know them so you're not just calling them about real estate. You're not just reaching out for real estate. And we don't like to pay for like marketing. We like to do events and spoil our clients. So we share. We're foodies, so we send deliveries of food baskets and they love it. We do gifting. So we also have a gift giveaway too from one of our vendors that does gifts for our clients. We have that for you so you can reach out to them because they're a great company. So we like to spoil our clients because at the end of the year tax season, you're gonna pay back anyway, so you might as well get some write offs and get some more business.
Yeah, absolutely. What does your business look like right now? Are you a team lead or did you?
I'm a team lead.
Okay.
We have 3 licensed agents. We have a great lady that does our marketing and our person that was handling our admin stuff, she's graduated, she got her license now. So Chris is now finally licensed. But she's more like Batman and Robin and like we kind of like reviving like that, and we're just looking for a new admin now. But she's my right hand, and eventually she'll be like the operations, and she'll be holding it down. So
Awesome.
cool.
So 3 licensed agents, yourself and an admin.
And a marketing person.
And a
We're
marketing
looking for a new
professional.
admin, and that's the hardest thing because
Yeah.
admins are tough.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And do you find that your team is structured? Are you guys in person or are you online? like in terms of
We're-
meetings?
So we meet every Tuesday, we have an office meeting, we meet up, and then we also meet sometimes on Thursdays, depending on our schedule. We do a lot in person, but we do a lot of things together to keep the culture. Culture is so important, energy is so important. Somebody said it over here, energy with clients, energy with your team. I really hire on intuition, and if it's not feeling good, I say like,
Yes.
we're gonna be with each other more than your partner and your family, so it has to feel right, and we have to be able to laugh, we have to be able to break bread, have food, go work out, like it has to feel culture, and we have to enjoy each other's company.
Mhm.
And we have to, I'm pointing to you, you're pointing to me.
It's a long transaction.
Yeah, you got it.
I love that. I have another question for you that I think would help a lot of people in this room. What would you say to someone who's sitting here in front of us that is maybe in their first year? You know, what advice would you give them in terms of some of the things that you did that you would have done differently right from the beginning? Go ahead.
Guys, I said CRM, choose your CRM. Who doesn't have a CRM in here? Put your hand up. Who does not? And whoever doesn't want to admit it, but fine. If you don't want to use your CRM, get one, at least use Google Contacts for now, get their name, mailing, date of birth, and start social media handles.
What is the CRM that you use?
Currently, I'm using Chime CRM. It's quite expensive, but I like it. I love it because it's all in one. And the thing is, it has to look user friendly, or you're not going to use it. I find the team's not going to use it. So it has to be user friendly. It has to have an app, and it's easy to go and kind of get up to date. And I like that it's connected to listings, so we can see what they're looking at, and also has access to sold. So we use Chime CRM. But if you don't have one, use Google Contacts until you can find it because it syncs with the CRM. So CRM is the way to go build lean and quality people in there.
Agreed.
Use follow-up box.
Okay.
So same thing.
Same.
Tracks everything.
That's
great.
amazing too.
Yeah.
So database, got that. Here,
Sure, build it out,
build it up.
have quality people in.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
feel
Lev.
like for your as well, you need to go through a lot of training and development. Because you could go and do your CRM, you could go and do a bunch of TikToks and have 100 leads and you won't know what to do with them, right? So you have to, there's a period of time where you really gotta learn, because the books don't teach you. They don't really teach you how to do the business, right? So, you know, maybe you get a mentor, maybe you join a team. I think that's so valuable, especially starting out, because instead of you sitting there and figuring things out on your own like I did, you can kind of fast track it.
Yeah.
Like I said, look at top producers and look at what they're doing. And learn it, yeah, and do all things. And like I said, take kind of what resonates with you and don't take advice from somebody who you wouldn't trade places with. I think that's another big mistake.
I really love that. Can you say that one more time?
Don't take advice from anyone that you wouldn't trade places with.
Okay.
I made that mistake.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
All right.
Hi, this is a question for all of you lovely ladies. So I'm a new agent and I don't want to be one of those agents that are annoying or one of those people that are annoying. And what is the line between following up following up, being persistent, and then being annoying? Like, how do you do that in your business?
So good question. So when you're working sales, because I used to sell wedding dresses for clientele, right? Like I've done a lot. I used to sell vacuums door to door. When you're working in closely tied to self-worth and self-esteem. You find, when you know your product and you find that opportunity, you don't feel awkward or like annoying or persistent because you just found it and you know for sure that it's like a diamond. Like you know that what you're offering is good. The only time that you feel awkward is when you don't know your product, right? And the problem with that is that when you start doing that, then it resonates, right? Like, you know, communication, 90% of it is nonverbal. So that's why I'm saying you need to learn your product. Learn your product, you know that if say you're selling, I don't know, here in Aurora, right? Drive around and know like this neighborhood is going up this amount of dollars. Like I've looked at beautiful houses before I came here. I could see they were all uninhabited. I could already look at it and see that they were builder. I could see that this guy did renovations and I don't know why he would buy such an expensive builder house and renovate it. But anyways, know the different areas, know like, can I do these renovations? What is the zoning here? What does that mean? And all those weird feelings start to go away because you're not going to put yourself in a position like that.
It's so true, like even to your point, because I have felt like that too in the past where I'm like, I've already like I talked to them, but I don't really know. But like, to give you an example, that just happened this weekend on Sunday, when you really believe in what you're selling, truly believing what, like, would you buy it, right? And what, or do you know somebody who would buy something of this sort? Like, we had a model house in my subdivision that's literally, guys, been sitting vacant for 60 days. But in my mind, I'm like, why hasn't anybody picked this up? The price is insane, it's fully furnished, it's brand new, the other houses across the street are going for double, and they're phase 3. Nobody's picked up this house because nobody's sold it yet. And I think sometimes we feel that we put up the sign and some buyer agent's gonna come up and they're gonna sell the house for us, right? But when you believe and you look through homes in the beginning, right? Like, feel them. Would you buy it? Do you know somebody who can buy it? When you get on video and you speak from your heart and it shows up, you have these DMs that come up in social.
Yeah, you become
So-
an expert,
and that's just
right?
it,
Like,
like-
if you have a recipe, say that you make the feta pasta on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
And everybody's making it. When your friends come over, you're gonna be like, you gotta try this
If
recipe.
you love it,
I
yeah.
just learned this recipe, like, it's so good, right? And it doesn't feel.
It's if you're selling something that you're not comfortable with, that I think it comes to be, you know, like, if you're not interested in pre-construction condos, but you're saying like, I have this pre-construction that I fucking would never buy, and like, nobody's gonna buy that place, you know, like, you gotta show up, right? And I feel like
maybe
it's whatever you
don't
love,
follow
right?
up,
Like,
right? Maybe
yeah.
you're not persistent because you know that client is not looking for that product.
Yeah.
So maybe you're gonna follow up with somebody else who's
So
gonna
true.
like know it, right? So maybe it's not even being
Referring it out.
persistent.
That, you know, as a new agent, who's gonna work harder and have your best interest in mind, right?
That's right.
how I feel. Like, who's gonna be better to my clients than me? Nobody.
Technically, you're selling yourself
Yeah,
too,
you're
right?
selling
Like,
yourself.
so yourself
true.
is the
You're-
product
you are
almost.
the product.
I think some
Yeah.
people get worried though, if they show up too much, are they showing up too much and then, right? Steering other families away from working with them. Like, I had that last year with the way I showed up on my social media. I had a lot of people that fell off because of my personal views and belief, and I'm very open about that. But it was crazy because the right people come.
Yeah.
Right? So don't worry about who's about to go. Think of
I'm
who
aware.
is coming in, who's coming in
Yeah.
and
But
replacing
I
those
think
people.
with follow-up, I mean, follow-up is key, this business is about follow-up. There are systems and timing for follow-up, and that might be what you were getting at a little bit as well. So if they're hot and you know their pain points, you know why they need to buy or sell, then they're gonna be on a different time frame. So they might be hot. So you're going to be in communication with them much more frequently than somebody who's 0 to
Exactly.
6
Yeah,
or 6
exactly.
to 12.
Yeah.
So, and that's what the CRMs do. That lead goes in there, that contact information goes in there. You put it in the CRM, and then that CRM reminds you, oh, here's who I'm on my hot sheet today, who I have to call.
Yeah.
So the CRM is key. We all hate it, but you have to
Yeah.
use it.
What else
And
for your
it
first
saves
year?
your life,
What else
right?
for your first year though? So
First year,
CRM, showing up on
And
online.
just don't be a secret agent. So
Secret
many
agent.
times
Yeah.
agents don't let people know that they're licensed because
Yes.
they're like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
done a deal yet, you know, I haven't done this, I don't have my marketing, I don't have this yet. Like, all that, put that aside, just
Yeah.
put yourself out there and let
Yeah.
people know that you're licensed.
Yeah.
And like, you can, you know, your bio, okay, you got real estate, 5 years ago, you got a license today, you know, I've been a real estate investor for 5 years, and you know how to, you know, so they know where you're coming from, they know your story, share your story,
Yeah.
and,
You
I
know,
think
I
this was my
think,
first year that I built the CRM in 5 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're right, sometimes you don't have those shiny objects in the beginning, but that's the point is, the key is to build the relationship
because that
first
will
too.
make your business very
Right?
successful.
Yeah,
I think if I was to
So
say,
true.
what would I say to myself first year? Now, I was in my mid-30s when I got my license, so a little different. But it's easy to prostitute your services out in this business to get a deal. And I hate to say that, it's pretty rude.
I was like, can I just hear what I
Yeah.
just heard?
But you know, you need to.
Okay, but I want you to elaborate, I want to hear about that. I'm taking notes.
You need to choose your clients. You need to choose
Like,
your
this is
clients.
real talk, right?
It is
Yeah.
real talk.
Uncensored.
Because it's very easy to make a lot of money very quickly in this business, it is. But you can't become kind of, you can't let real estate and your clients chokehold you into
Sure.
doing something you're not comfortable with.
Mhm.
If you need to, when I meet clients, I'm also interviewing them. I go on listings and I'm like, okay, are they gonna actually listen to me when shit hits the
Yeah.
fan? And when push comes to shove, and okay, for the last 2 years,
listing agents, it's been easy. Nobody's had to really work to sell a house. I'm excited for this shift. We're going back to regular market. We're actually going to sell real estate again when we negotiate with the buyer's agent, and the buyer and seller have to negotiate together. But I think you just have to remember why you're in the business, the type of business you want to build, and really be careful who you get in business with, right? Because it will either make or break your business.
We did have a question over there.
Yeah.
Do you wanna ask your question?
Oh, I was just gonna ask, like, what would be one of your biggest pieces of advice when it comes to the objection of being new and being in your first year? Like,
What, how many houses have you sold?
and then not
I
like,
say, I said I never stopped to count. And they don't know what to say, you just move on, they sign the listing agreement, and there you go.
Or you work with
Right?
somebody,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like
if
say
you have a
that you,
team.
you work
Yeah.
with a mentor,
Yeah.
I don't remember, right? Say that
Yeah.
you've done like 3 listings with a mentor.
Yeah.
So when you come to your listing appointment, you do have a resume and a body of work.
Yeah.
Right? Like I've worked on these.
And
listings. This
teams
is what
give you
this
credibility, or if you have a partner. So teams give you credibility because you get to use kind of what the team is bringing to the table, right?
I have a question for Jasmine.
Yes.
How do you balance being a mom, wife, spouse, business owner? How are you doing all the things? What do you think is your one thing that helps you?
Calendar for sure. So guys, I'd recommend, my calendar has 3 colors. Family is one, that's red. My business is purple, and then my personal me time is pink. So I schedule my me time like a listing appointment. It's not getting shaped before. The big lesson for you guys, before you be like, when are you available? And when I switch to, I'm available Tuesday from 5 to 6 or Wednesday 3 to 4.
Yeah.
That, now you have boundaries.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is the biggest problem,
So
right?
that's so funny. When I was first in the business, I would say, oh, like I booked my appointments a week out. Oh, I can't fit you in this week. But I never wanted to seem desperate for that business.
Right.
But similar thing, like your time is your time.
So
Right?
calendar's huge. What
Calendar
else?
is super huge, guys. And just also to add to it, as new agents and just agents in the business, you need to have a tribe of people in your life that are in real estate, guys. They don't have to be in the same brokerage. Like Colin's my friend. I met him, we connected. I love his, his gusto for the business, right? So build your tribe, because when you're speaking this real estate stress, not your partner's not gonna understand what the hell you're talking about.
Nope.
And your friends are like, you just made 25,000 on a chat. We're like, build your tribe. Get a mentor or coach that has more experienced team leader. That is super important. And have an accountability partner. Because you have a team member, Rixie, that she cannot wake up at 9 o'clock to save her life. So we have an accountability partner, and it's been a game changer. But calendar for everything. And I don't look at like business hours. It's just a lifestyle. Real estate's a lifestyle now, right? So if I'm gonna do a buyer visit, I was telling Chris, I have my son coming with me. They got kids, I got kids too. We're like human beings, people.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna bring them to a listing appointment. I heard agents like, there was an agent that was door knocking with 2 kids in a stroller. Like I think she's not too far. But whatever works for you. But buyer visits, my son's coming, he's at our client events, he's having fun. Just have fun with the business, because it's gonna go by so fast. Like it's already 18 years. Like real estate stole half of my life already, guys. Like listen, have fun with it, make money, and be a happy agent. Because one thing I'll tell you, I've been in offices and miserable agents are like, you know who they are, guys.
Yeah.
Right? So, and make sure you have good relationships with other realtors. I have a listing coming up. His didn't sell on offer night. Mine didn't sell on offer night. We were just jabbering
That's
back and forth today. And he's like, Jazzy, I'm like, you tell me, I'll tell you what's happening. So it's relationships, guys. Everything's relationships with realtors, your clients, everything. And you know what?
Your family.
Your family.
Your
That was
friends.
nice, because real estate has a high divorce rate, guys. So
Yeah.
listen, the only thing real at the end of the day is love. Okay, so make sure that's your priority. If anything you learned from COVID.
I love that so much, and I love that you said building rapport with other agents in our industry.
Yeah.
Even like Kelsey and I did a deal recently this year
Ooh,
together.
sexy.
Kelsey and I did a deal this year, and I was like, hey, she's like, I have a baby at home, like me too. She's like, okay. She's like, they're napping. I'm like, done, let's go do the deal. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, right? Like, okay, you have a baby at home, me too. Okay, don't worry. Go feed them. I'll be right back. And we did the deal done.
She's like that. You're gonna get a sign back tomorrow. We're gonna accept it, but I have to go to the hockey game. I'm like, done.
Yeah, right?
I'm
Like,
gonna
make it
tell my
work.
client she's at the hockey game, but I'm like, we're gonna get a response tomorrow. Just sit tight, right? right?
You
We
know?
got each other's back because
Yes.
we're gonna be
Even
on
on-
the table more times than clients.
That's
guys.
so
Yeah.
true, and like, and I love that you said like color coding your calendar was massive too for organization.
And also to see how much you're putting into yourself, how
Yes.
much of you are on the calendar, how much of your family's on the calendar, and how much work you're doing.
I love that.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
how
say,
about you too? So tell me a little bit about what you were, what you would do in terms of
I
like
was
your
just gonna say, a
organization.
huge thing for me, and not necessarily organization, but a huge thing for me is just learning how to say no.
Or firing.
I feel like, or firing clients, yes, you can fire clients, people.
Yes.
You know, the first couple years of my career, I was like a yes man. You know, you wanna see
Yeah,
this
the
house.
prostitution thing.
The prostitution, yeah, you wanna see a house at this time and I'm not available, I am like busting my ass, breaking my back, finding somebody to show it to you if I can't do it. Like doing whatever I can on the face of this planet. Of course, there's times where that's necessary, like if somebody, you know, if it's in the market where everything's selling in 2 seconds, a little bit different, like yes, you kind of have to drop everything and be there, but you have to learn to say no. You have to learn to say no when you're uncomfortable, which is huge. Do not put yourself in a bad situation because you want to make money. You know, you see the commission tied to that sale or whatever, just don't put yourself in a bad position. And learn how to take care of your time, because your time as a person, as an individual, is just as important as the time you're giving to somebody else to help them purchase a home. Because if you are not at your 10 out of 10 or your 100%, you can't give that to somebody else. So huge for me, yeah.
Especially balancing being a mom
Yes.
and like you have a daughter at home who's very young.
Yeah.
So, you know, do you find that you've ever felt like guilt in terms of running a big business and being a mom?
There's
You
guilt
know.
is huge. So there's guilt on both sides of the spectrum. There's guilt on the mom side of the spectrum where, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm so busy. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm always on the phone. You know, she's here playing and I'm, you know, rapid fire texting to somebody. And then there's guilt on the flip side of things when I'm spending time with her and I you know, I kind of put my phone down and I'm like, okay, you know, I have this listing that 3 weeks on the market is not getting any showings. I'm like, you know, I should be out there freaking harassing people to buy this house or something. I'm like, you know, but I'm with my daughter instead. So there's guilt on both ends of
I felt
the
that before too,
spectrum, 100%.
before.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, do I be 100% mom? Do I be 100% realtor? It's hard to be both at the same
And
time.
that's honest conversation. That's why it's good to have
Yeah.
your tribe, but there should be no guilt. Like you guys
No
know
guilt, yeah.
that.
I've
It's not
never had
fair. It's not
guilt.
fair. It's not fair. No.
And I think it's because I had a good team,
Yeah.
right? I was a
People surrounding
single
you.
divorced mom
Yeah.
with 2 little kids, and I was able to go to school and volunteer. I was also able to go see clients at night. But I made a choice. My priority was this. And yeah, my career took a back seat when the kids were younger, but
Yeah,
that was my
100%,
choice. So I
100%.
don't feel guilty about that. Now it's different. Now you know, I'm in university, I can do what I want.
I think it's time
Right?
to interview the boys back there.
Yeah.
Interview the boys.
Yeah, maybe they'll have a different story. I do remember in the early days when I first got my license, a client would call and I would stay in the backseat.
I do that right now.
Like nothing, no talking, nothing. And they did, they were good. They didn't say a word.
I do. I
Right?
think a huge thing too is being able to ask for help
Yes,
and
that's a
accepting
huge
the
thing.
help.
So that's
Yeah,
how you find your
accepting the help,
balance,
yeah.
like getting the
Yeah.
help.
Asking
to
for
give
help,
you the
yeah. So
balance
like
that
for
you need.
example, like my mother watches my daughter when I need to go to the office or,
Okay.
or do something, or you know, I asked my fiance when are you gonna be home from work? I have an appointment at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, I used to be a little bit nervous to ask for help because I'm, you know, I'm
Yeah.
a bad bitch. I want to do everything by myself. But you have
It's
to
just a good
ask.
life skill.
Yeah,
Ask
you
for help.
Ask for help
have to
and
be
then
able to
take
ask
yours
for
that
help.
is given.
Yeah.
You know what, guys, one of my agents that I'm coaching, like I told her to share her goals with her family. And I was talking to her daughter. Her daughter's like, my mom sells one more house. We're gonna book a trip in September.
I love that.
Nice,
So, like,
nice.
You gotta get their buy-in so they
Yeah.
know why you're sacrificing and you're working late and you're dropping them off at their mom.
It's a
So
good
they're all
idea.
buy in. Like right
Let's
now.
go to Disney,
Yeah,
mom.
exactly.
Sell that house.
My son is driving me for Robux. I spent a lot of money on
Oh,
Robux.
yeah.
He's like, you're traveling 10,000. I'm like 10,000 what? So,
How about you, Love? Tell me a little bit about how you balance your mom and
mom
business,
life
you know?
wife life.
And you were a single mom in the beginning too, you were saying,
I
yeah.
was. Definitely calendars. I have so many of them. I have them on my iPad. But I think like when we're looking at balancing, one thing that I've learned is that your partner, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, your partner is gonna decide whether you make hundreds of thousands or
Mhm.
thousands. You know, are they pouring into you? Are they uplifting you? If
I love
for
that
the
so
ladies in
much.
the room here, you know,
Wow.
you need to be with a very strong, secure man if
Yeah.
you want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
right.
Okay,
And a round of applause.
So true.
Right, and vice versa, like for the men in this room, right? If your job is to like be a provider and be the gatherer, you need a certain kind of woman that's gonna be able to support you, right? And cook for you and clean for you, like all of those things. So, you know, when I look at my life, I'm pretty athlete, traveling constantly, and it's just about prioritizing and optimizing, right? So if I only have a certain amount of hours a day, I'm gonna make sure that, you know, I do whatever I need to do. Another huge thing is really and this is something that really resonates with we have the second one, and that's when our creative that's when we all right? Like that's when we're at our peak physically. And then there's a period of time so during that time, does it make sense for that in a day?
Yeah, what do I do? I'm like way past.
Men to understand that too, right? Like whether you're in a deal with somebody, whether you have women at home around you, it's just also be conscientious that we experience other things, you know? And even when we're moms, say that we have mom and dad, right? In this like a family, mom always takes on more of the role, right? The kid runs, falls, breaks his knees, is going to mom, right? Mom has, you know, maybe the kid has a bad dream, he's probably going to mom, right? So understanding the roles in the household, like, you know, whose job is to do what. My fiance is an athlete, so we talk a lot about team.
I love that so much.
What is your position and what is my position, right? And I'm gonna cheer you on when it's your time.
Yes.
And he's gonna cheer me on when it's my
I
time.
love that so much.
Yeah.
So having a really good partner is key too.
That's really gonna decide your success. So if you're single, you have to be so careful
Gotta train
about
them early.
the people that you
Especially if
have
you're getting
around
into
you.
business now with
Yeah,
someone.
like you wanna be
100%.
around top performing agents, of course, because there are agents who are just trash and you don't wanna.
And top performing spouses.
You
There's
know, and
there's
top
trash and
performing-
top performing agents
performing
You
too.
wanna be around
spouses.
top
Yeah.
performing spouses.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
We're
and then
gonna
you
do
go
a
to
whole
the top
panel on that.
performer, right?
You gotta bring the men, the significant other, so they can hear this too from, you know.
Mine hears it every day.
Hear it from like other women, other men, you know, and they
We're
can
gonna do a
want
podcast on that.
Yeah.
That's next.
I feel like just because there's men here, they've already leveled up.
Yes.
Just because you've been here today, like
Probably
you've
because they were
leveled
brought up
up
by good women.
in such an
right?
amazing way.
love
So
that.
we have to have that, you know?
I have another question. I want to ask two more and then I want to open it up just for timing because I want you guys to be able to ask the specific questions you want to, but I'm going to narrow this down. There's some really good ones here, but I'm going to narrow down the ones that I want to ask. Okay. What would you say, MJ, right now is your biggest struggle? What are you struggling with the most right
That's
now?
the hardest question for me.
You don't know what you struggle with?
Oh, no, I know.
What are you
So
struggling with right now?
biggest struggle career
Yes.
with in
career.
real estate.
Yes.
My personal life.
Yeah, what are you struggling with right
The
now?
struggle is truly real in the sense of managing people's expectations.
Right.
Yes.
So
wow.
I.
Wait, from
run
a team
team-
perspective or
yeah,
from
from a team perspective, and I think just in real estate in general,
Right.
a lot of people come in with the mindset that real estate is easy and it's a quick way to make money.
Mhm.
And I can only thank Netflix and HGTV for that.
Selling
sunset,
like
girl.
selling
I
Tampa.
mean, real estate is hard work. It's grind day after day after day. So that's my big
What's your
issue
biggest
right now
struggle
is
right now?
managing everybody's expectations of what real estate is really like. Get ready, everybody. We're gonna see
Buckle
what
up.
real estate is like,
Yeah.
right?
Buckle
I've
up
been in
now.
2 downturns, right?
Yeah.
You will survive. We will all survive. It's just it's hard work. I mean, anything that's into you for no work
is probably not worth having.
Mhm.
But it's really hard to speak, sometimes I feel like I'm speaking a different language. But to make, in any business, you have to work hard. You have to find what works and you need to not reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And take it from there. But yeah, that's my
Got
biggest challenge right now is managing
For sharing and
everybody's
being honest
expectations
about that.
about what real estate is really like.
Kels, how about you, love? What are you struggling with right now the most?
Kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think the thing I'm struggling with the most is the guilt.
Guilt.
Okay.
Yes, whether it be the
Yeah.
guilt on the real estate side of things or the guilt on the mom side of things, just because my daughter is so young.
Yeah.
She's 2. It'll be a little
She
bit
won't
easier.
remember anything.
I know.
You still feel it.
It'll be a little bit
Yeah.
easier when she's in school, right?
Yes,
Because like
yeah,
I try
yeah,
to
yeah.
explain to my fiance, I am like, I am mom. I am like caregiver 100% of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You know, you get to
Yeah.
go to work and you get to go to work and just go to work. Like be in your head and be at work and do your tradesman things. But
Yeah.
like here I am as a mother.
Yeah.
To even be able to go to work, I have to arrange childcare
Yeah.
for my
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like there's so many different moving parts to even just live my life.
Yeah.
So I
And
think
it gets easier as she gets bigger.
yeah. So as she gets a little bit older, I think I'm a little bit more excited because she can go to school and I have that
Yeah.
time during the
But I'll tell
day
you,
to
don't rush them to grow up.
That's what
that
I
Don't rush
too,
it.
right? So
Right,
I'm
just
like,
slow it down,
I
but delegate as much as you
I
can. I would
listen to
say,
your-
just delegate and make her part of the goals, like I was saying
Yeah.
earlier, make her part of the goals for your business. And don't feel bad, like MJ said, she slowed it down to make the kids the priority.
Yeah,
So
like,
you're
I
not even
just-
miss this age, like.
Oh, you're so
Yeah.
right, like
Listen.
even to like thinking about, a lot of this industry, we talk about leveling up, top performers,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
What is
But
that?
I had a really good conversation with another mom in our brokerage the other day, and I said, what does that look like for you specifically? What does being top
Oh
look like
yes,
for you?
yes, yeah, yeah.
Because if
Well,
it
what
means
is
you took the
success,
day off and went
right?
to Wonderland
Yeah.
and you missed out on a listing
Yeah.
appointment, well, you did you have a good time? Did you go on vacation? Did you do the things? Like, what does that look like for you,
That's another
right?
thing that I struggle with too, and I was gonna kind of touch on with like, what would I tell my younger self
Self.
when I first began is like, try very hard to not compare yourself with
Right.
other people.
Yeah.
Because there is the opportunity in this business to make a lot of money and make a lot of money, quickly. But it's also, I find a thing in this business to want to compare yourself to other people and to want to compare yourself to top producers and stuff like that. You kind of just have to figure out what kind of lifestyle that you want and what you want out of your life. Because me personally, I don't need to be making 7 figures a year. I don't even need to be making, a year. I'm happy, I'm content, to care for my daughter and to be there with her and to have that time to spend with her, but like still try and grow something that can in the future potentially build into that, $500,000, $1 million business. As of right now, at the age I'm at, the age my daughter's at, I'm happy to be producing what I am. I don't need to compare myself to everybody, to every single top producer, as long as I'm happy.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like another thing too with success to me is happiness and fulfillment and stuff like that. It doesn't directly attribute or link with money.
Oh, yeah.
Mine
Success
does.
is-
Right?
But you're still young.
Mine
Yeah.
somewhat is money, but
Success is
yeah.
fire. Anybody, agents in here? Okay, new agents, you need to talk to a financial advisor. You need to get a good accountant. The gate.
Yeah, no.
I got
accountant.
hit with 5-figure tax bills. I went from being a single mom and getting money back from the government, okay? Like, broke as a joke. To having to get pay 60 grand.
That's
in
what I'm
taxes,
doing too.
in
Yeah.
taxes, right? So the financial, no budget babe. Anybody seen
Yes,
her? No
yes.
budget babe. Nicole.
Mhm.
So she talks about fire status.
She's actually
Right?
a very good resource to follow if anybody's not following her, just to
Yeah.
give tips. Like, she gives some really solid
Yeah.
tips.
And FIRE means financial independence, retire early,
Yeah.
right? This business, you have an opportunity to make a lot of money. And if you make the right plays early on in your career, you won't have to do this and listen, this is no shade. But you won't have to do it for 20
Yeah.
years, 30
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
You could do it and retire after
And
10
prepare an
years.
exit strategy.
have other
Yes.
people making money for you too, right?
That's my goal. To be
Yeah.
the agent for 30 years.
Yeah.
One who did really, really well and then exited and had that quality of life, right? And got to raise my kids. So I think that's just so important because like, yes, absolutely everything that what you're saying, because I turn down deals all the time. Larissa will tell you. I'm like,
you have to notice.
I'm
it.
like, no,
Yeah.
fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But at
So
the same
true,
time,
so
though,
true, though.
if I had better financial people in my corner, I would have to do the things that I had to do. So if I
Yeah.
had to go back, it would be like, just have that conversation, regardless of if you think you're gonna make, 200 grand or $1 million, like position yourself in a way. And we have a mortgage broker here, right?
Yeah.
Right? So that's another
shaking
huge
my
thing.
head and going, it's
It's a
so
huge thing,
huge,
right?
Because that's the thing, I think, is you're shifting now, is it's so much about that, generational wealth and all those kind of things, but it's literally teaching, especially in this market right now. There's so many people are so scared, and I get it, but there's so much opportunity for people who are thinking ahead
Yeah.
and wanting to, it's
Yeah.
huge.
No,
It's
as a new
very
agent,
important.
your job is to buy a house if you haven't bought one as well. That's your first job.
So you can speak
Right?
on your
Exactly. You buy a house, okay, and when you go through that process, you're gonna learn how it works.
Yeah.
That's it.
the emotions of it.
That's how
too, right?
The
So you can kind of
emotions,
relate.
everything, the
Yeah.
steps, the emotions,
Yeah.
the lawyers, the mortgage
I like
people,
that.
how everything works. Rather than reading the books or taking courses online, buy a house, make a plan to buy a house, figure out what you would have to do to buy a house. And then from there, that's your whole blueprint that you pretty much give to everybody else.
What would you say is your biggest struggle right now?
Definitely like the psychological effect of this market. My phone is ringing nonstop. Even people who are not even my clients, who
Right.
just find me on TikTok, and I don't even have my number anywhere. But
Mhm.
somehow they find me. They're finding me. We have more leads now than we did in the hot market, right? There's no shortage of people who want to do deals. And also just when to, grow the family, just finding the right timing, right? When is the right time,
Interesting.
which you never know.
There's never a right
There never
time.
is a right time. I was gonna say that. You just gotta do
You gotta pull a
it.
trigger on it.
Go on vacation, man, that happens all the time.
Yeah, go on vacation.
Talk to Larissa. Larissa's on vacation every month.
Oh.
Every month. But you know what? I love it though, because the way that I run my team is very unconventional, and it shows up for me when I have to do mom things. And I show up for her when it's like she needs to go snowboarding because there was like all this crazy snow the night before, or she got a great deal on a flight, right? So it's a give and take. And a lot of younger agents and younger generations, they're expecting more from their employers nowadays, right? With that great
And it's more
resignation.
lifestyles, sometimes
It's
not even
more of
just
a
the deal,
lifestyle.
it's
Yeah.
not even deals anymore, it's lifestyles, right?
Yeah.
But even, Jasmine, did I ask you what your biggest struggle? I don't remember now.
I
Did
would say
ask you
just
that?
support staff really. is the
Support
hard-
staff.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
hardest
that's
thing because as this, once you get into that position, you wanna hire an admin or a support staff, like by the time you train them, it's like 6 months in invested. You gotta make sure whoever you're picking as your support, it's well worth the investment because you wanna make sure they're committed to you for at least to get the return on investment, like 3 to 5 years. Because investing 6 months is when they're really gonna start showing up in that role, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, for sure, I would agree on that, like finding the right support staff.
Because once they see these checks, they're thinking it's so easy,
Yes.
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 so that's the hard part.
Yeah.
You gotta find somebody who actually loves what they do.
Yeah,
And somebody who's actually invested, and that's the hardest part, right? Especially if you're putting your heart and soul into it, it's so hard to find, especially over the
Someone
last
that
couple of
cares
years.
enough to.
Yeah, because they were making more money on stage.
Yeah.
so to wrap up tonight, I wanna ask you one more and then we'll open it up for questions. I wanna ask you, anybody can jump in, whoever wants to go first, but I wanna know what your next 10-year plan looks like. Like, what is your vision for your business, how it is today, and what does that look like for you?
I'm gonna diversify my investments. Like I told you, I plan to retire early, diversify, internationally. Like my fiance is American, so we're going, over there. Maybe create like some sort of online passive income, share my secrets for a price. That's pretty much it.
Diversify your income.
Yeah, and like for lazy agent. At least all.
Love
But
that.
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Kels?
I'd love to have a team one into our school. I think. But yeah, ideally to potentially over the next 10 years, delegate as much as I can, so I have as much freedom as possible. Would be ideal.
So you're looking to hire eventually.
Yeah. Right now we're trying to hire an admin. To alleviate a lot of stuff obviously don't
Mhm.
necessarily want to be doing, just to kind of open it up to give us more time to do the money-making stuff, I
Okay.
suppose, yeah.
So your next hire is gonna be an admin, and then what would it look like after that?
Hopefully that admin, would eventually transition into like a licensed role, and then
Okay.
we'd probably have, there'd be 3 of us, and then we'd have another admin, and we'd kind
So
of
grow
try
a
and
team.
keep trying to roll it out like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think. That would be ideal.
Yourself up?
The goals is to fire myself.
Me
Hire
too.
an operations like an MJ, you
Yeah.
know, and then I can focus on more like online coaching and more travel before choice and just escaping the winters.
Love
I
that.
don't have a retirement date. I just like the flexibility to work how you want, when you
Mhm.
want.
Yeah.
And I'm a landlady, and that's been fun over COVID. It really hasn't.
No, I don't think so.
No.
You would.
I invested in cryptos. That's another crazy fire sale.
God.
Another day.
Especially right now,
Right
yeah,
now,
rough.
fire sale, you know,
Are you guys
so-
invested in anything other than real estate? For anybody who wants to know? Yeah?
Yeah.
You wanna share?
Just like regular like ETFs.
ETFs.
And crypto.
Stocks and crypto. and it's like
Nothing
fire
for
sale.
me, but I'd like to get there. I'd like to buy
Yeah.
some investment property, that'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit scared to
I
be a
think it might be
landlord, I'm
better
not
than
gonna lie to you,
crypto right
because of
now.
things I've seen out there.
Property management.
But, yeah.
But I'll tell you, like, before COVID, I'd say have at least 6 months in reserve, but now
To be able to
with COVID,
carry the property.
12 months
Yes.
because the tenants had the upper hand.
Yeah,
Don't be
trying to
scared.
get anybody
But
evicted
don't
at
be
this
scared
point.
because it's just like you have to get to the no's to get to your yeses. You're gonna have
Mm.
bad tenants. Don't be scared of it. It's
Yeah.
worth
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
because you want that passive income and you're not depending on this real estate income.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
really what you want. The freedom.
Yeah.
That's what we're all after. Is
The freedom,
guys. Yeah.
ultimately, and it's not necessarily even the
And whatever
money.
that looks like for you.
Time freedom.
It's time and
Yeah.
freedom. MJ, what does the next 5 to 10 years look like for you? What does your vision look like?
I'll be retired.
Yeah.
Like I promised Colin, probably.
You got her like, what?
Yeah, I'll be, in 10 years I'll be retired. I hope that the Campbell team is running
Mhm.
because they've been inspired to take action,
Right?
right? It's a lot of people, and we haven't been able to share my entire story, but a lot of people listen to my story and say, you need to write a book. But I don't care so much about that, but I hope that there's nothing with inspiration if it doesn't cause action. So I hope, that I'm sitting on back in the beach in Bermuda.
Yes.
And either the boys are, part of the team, or the team is in a place where they're calling me and sending me TikToks.
He's like, what? Yeah. He's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, no, all of our team could be here.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I'll be retired. You're
Good.
we kidding.
Yeah, right?
I'm doing this for fun.
There you
Yeah.
go.
She's not even
needs
to be paid.
Colin.
I
love that. Thank you, ladies, so much. Those are the wrap of our questions, but I want to open it up to you guys. I know that a lot of you had chatted with me one-on-one and said that you wanted to know some specific questions about any of these ladies, whether it's business, personal, whatever that looks like. So if you have a burning question, your opportunity is here now to ask that. Yeah. How do you get started?
Yeah.
Are you licensed now?
No, it's been a goal of mine. I just never went through it, but I love real estate. I love texture. I love colors. And,
Yeah.
Do you love real estate or you love trades?
I love the houses.
Like building them? Because you said you like texture and color.
I do. I like,
Yeah.
honestly, I like everything about real estate. I like the fact that you start from nothing, you have a foundation, you build up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can do a three-story house, you can detached, or you can do a massive building,
Mhm.
honestly.
I have a question. Do you like people?
That was a good question. That is like the key question.
I'm working on it,
You don't have to like them, you don't have to like them, you have to be able to almost like
You have to manage their
manage them and
expectations.
and adapt, yeah.
Sales
What
and communication.
I will say is I love the differences in the people that I meet, and I love the different characters. And when I do get to speak to them, I did do door-to-door sales when I was younger. And what I found interesting, we would just talk about all sorts of things. So some people, you go into their house and they have, beautiful wooden floors, and we talk about that. They're not really. So you talk about that. We talk about like, the texture in their house, or the painting, or like in Indian families, family is extremely important to them, so you see their entire family in paintings and pictures on the walls, and you ask them about their kids and what they're doing and things like that. So I like speaking to people and hearing about the things that they enjoy. When I hear about things that they enjoy,
Listening, which is great.
And there's so many different avenues in real estate too, like whether it is sales or like you said, building, or if it's a trade, or if it's, you know.
Yeah, it's not often
as
that somebody
investors,
says that they like colors and textures. That's why I was like, do you like real estate? Do you like trades? Because you can make a lot of money doing trades, and you don't have to go to school unless you're a plumber, HVAC, or an electrician. But you want to do framing, you can go right into it right now and make $30 an hour, right? You rough framing or finished.
So true.
Finished is like when you're inside the house is already built, and you want to do all the beautiful finishes, right? Do you like texture like that? You could do that. The only drawback with that is that your tools are quite expensive, right? So I would implore you to explore different avenues before you make a final decision.
Yeah. Especially when you're investing in it.
If you like textures, that just really, I'm like,
I love
okay, that might be something, right? Maybe that's an avenue for you,
Love that.
right?
Yeah. Anyone else?
There was a question over
Yes,
here.
go ahead, love.
Yes. So I'm a single mom. I've been a single mom. My son is 4 since he's been super young. I'm going into my 2nd year of business, and I'm I've been really active on social media, and I'm teaching a social media course with my brokerage. But now I'm just kind of wondering, I'm wondering what my next kind of big expense should be. Like, what should be my next big investment? Like, I've talked to different people that create content, or if I want to do coaching, or I'm just kind of wondering what my advice on what a next step is of that, because I'm terrified to get super busy and get super into business, because I'm a single mom, and it's I was hearing you and say about that.
Yeah.
So
Well, where did your deals come from last year?
social media and my high school and friends
Sphere.
that I've talked to
And how much-
who reached out to me through social media.
Right. So how
Yes.
much percentage of your business came from social media?
90%.
So you're gonna spend 90% of your marketing budget on social media.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I like that.
And whether that's through paid ads or getting new equipment or whatever that looks like, maybe you're doing shoots, maybe you're,
The thing that has been good for Natalie and I has been giveaways. We're doing a Father's Day giveaway right now, and you say, oh, you have to be following us, you have to tag your friends, you have to do all this stuff. We've gotten I think 80 followers in 2 days from just doing a Father's Day giveaway. So the more people you have following your page, and the more I think organic you are, you let them know who you are as a person and they trust you, the more people that are gonna come to you organically too.
Do you use TikTok?
I don't, but now I'm hearing it more
That's the
and
next
more.
thing.
Yeah, me too. I'm not on
That's the
TikTok
next
either.
thing.
Well, I need TikTok.
Do you have any automations?
Automation.
Yeah, so if this happens, then that happens. If somebody reaches out to you, then automatically it creates a contact in your CRM. It sends them a text message and an email.
I do it
sends you a
I do it
text.
not automatically, I do it personally.
So there's your next thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna go check out Zapier.
What is it called?
Zapier.
Zapier.
Zapier. That's your
But
next
also
thing.
I'd recommend a coach for sure. It doesn't have to be real
100%.
estate, because the mindset, you just bring up the fear a couple times, and that should be one of your biggest things that you want to touch on.
Coaching is huge.
Coaching for the mindset and
We all have
realigning your
coaches,
goals, so you can now build a path that's good for you and your family.
I have 4 different coaches for different parts of my life.
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
joking.
that's
I
yours.
spend,
would
honestly,
like
guys, I spend so much money in coaching, but because I want to be in certain rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because I had a conversation with somebody recently, and it was, I'm similar to you, I have a couple different coaches for different things, and I was having a conversation, they almost looked at me, and they're like, why? Like, why do you need a coach? And I was almost taken back a little bit, but I was like, because I want to surround myself with people who are
I
better
want to
than
be in
me.
certain
So I
environments,
can-
certain rooms.
You want to be learning, and you want to work on yourself.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's so
Wanna invest in
important.
yourself.
You guys kind of all said a version of it to, we want to be better versions of ourselves, and we want to invest in ourselves, right? So think
I love
it's so
that.
important. Yeah.
I think it's important to have a coach and someone that you are going to coach. Because you're learning from both ends. You're teaching someone and you're learning from them. Which is actually very important too. And you ladies, you guys have a team. You guys are coaching someone. So that's where you keep going up and higher up. That's how you actually succeed.
Yeah, you're right.
Was there another hand here? Yes, go ahead, love.
So I'm actually at Hummer right now. I'm halfway done to course 3, and I was just curious about, everything that I'm reading so far is basically just having to cover all your bases with whether it's a buyer or seller. You know, wanting to make sure that you're telling them, or let's say, for example, you're representing a buyer and you found out the type of neighborhood, location, what they're looking for in a house, what features, what are, you know, their priorities. So I guess what I'm just wondering is how in the beginning for you, were you able to think of everything? Like, you know, if you have a buyer with kids and, you know, if you're representing them, you're going to do your due diligence and call the schools if school is an important thing. And then just making sure that, because I find that there's so many things that have to do with the structure of the house, you know, from the outside to the inside to the schools to if there's new developments coming up or if there's a new plaza coming up. And I find like in the beginning with everything else that you already have going on, not even taking your personal life into account, and I'm a mother of a 3-year-old. So it's just like, it gets nerve wracking because I'm like, you know, you read that they can come back and sue you, they can come back and sue your brokerage, you know, it hurts your reputation. It gets posted on the RICO website and then you start to think like, oh my God, I don't want to forget these things. But how do you walk around looking like a confident?
You really can't be sued for anything, so.
Don't
fear it, like,
fear it.
Just
take
sue
it
back.
through it.
Yeah, sue back. The MSC too.
Yeah.
First of all, that's what you always say.
But you know, I
Like
think
I
a
was
lot of
saying,
it
it's just-
comes, if you're talking from a buyer's perspective, a lot of that comes from the listing side, right? So a lot of really good listing agents will have the good Q scores. They'll have that information, and that it goes to what we were saying earlier, the relationship with agents. So you call up the listing agent and say, what do I need to know about this property? Most listing agents, when you're showing, should be calling you saying, here is everything you need to know,
it's just
right?
back in the day, maybe.
Yeah,
But
and
I
so
don't know about
maybe,
now. It's
yeah,
about knowing your products. Like I said,
okay,
know your products,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And when you do, then you'll
Yeah.
learn. When you start doing the deals,
Yeah.
you're gonna learn way faster.
But, you know, also to add to what the ladies are saying, Humber just teaches you like what not, but like just.
Yeah, it doesn't teach you
Right,
how
it
to
doesn't
be a
teach
real
you the
estate
real life,
agent, it
doesn't
just
teach
gives
the
you the
real life, and
license,
Google
yeah.
will be your friend, love, because
Yeah.
no longer are they selling in Toronto and staying in Toronto, they're selling in Toronto, moving to Windsor, they're selling in
Yeah,
Toronto, moving
yeah.
to Barrie, so it's hard to know all these neighborhoods and know what
Yeah.
development, so don't overwhelm yourself, just do your research, because you're gonna learn on the go, and you have to be okay with that.
The other
That's
thing
what-
too, I wanted just to add to what you're saying too, is that the brokerage that you're part of is also responsible with helping teach you.
Yeah,
So
that's
like
huge.
there are certain brokerages that have coaching and very good brokers of record, right? Like in the beginning, I was leaning heavily on my broker of record. Are they accessible? Because they have the years over you and they're checking your deals. Like, I don't know about all the other brokerages you guys put them, but like we're checking new agents' deals to make sure that, you know, we're going through the MLS. We're asking the right questions so that because as a brokerage, that's everyone's responsibility, not just the one agent. And it depends on how your brokerage looks at that, right? Like we look at our deals like it's our brokerage's deal. It's not just your deal one-on-one with your client. So I think leaning on your broker of record is huge, but also knowing, does your office give you the training that you need? Because you're right, Humber College is just a slate. It's nothing. It's the piece of paper. That's it, right?
Yeah. Make a plan to buy a house yourself. Like literally go and I make all my new team members do this. I'm like, go visualize what you would ever buy, your dreams coming true. And then sit down and like maybe talk to a mortgage broker and figure out, okay, what is the plan for me to buy? And when you go through that plan and you being a mom, you want to work with other moms, right? And you're going to learn that you can go to the Fraser Institute online and see the school ratings, or you can download the Hood IQ report for like $15.
Or even call the town, like so many times, like, I don't know, like up north, like if I'm working in the north where it's a lot more rural, like be okay to call the town and to lean on people who know it more than you. And the way I look at us as agents, we're the connectors, right? So we don't have to know all the information, we just have to know how to find it, right? Like we're the
Be resourceful,
connectors.
right? Be
So we need to know
resourceful.
where to get the information if we're not supposed to know everything, right?
Get as much as
How
you
do we
can
get
in
it?
writing too.
And I think it'll be
Right.
important for you to, like, you want, whenever you're deciding which brokerage you wanna join, you're interviewing them as well, right? Because you're wanting to
Absolutely.
figure out where, and that's what, and I'm completely unbiased, because I work with not just
Sure.
KW, and I can tell you, like, out of all the agents that I work with, like, the training and stuff that you're getting from the, it's unlike a lot of other brokerages, and they do give you a lot of resources, and I see that because I run operations for my brokerage and I speak to a lot, and that's
Right.
the biggest thing with a lot of the, with rooms that you're getting the training.
Mhm.
So, like you said, they're all saying, you kind of come out of, you know, you do your license, you come out and you're like,
thrown to the wolves.
So-
And that's okay to feel that way, because a
Yeah,
lot of
for
people do
sure.
feel that way.
For
sure.
Just have one last
Yeah, of
question.
course,
I
yeah.
just moved to GTA from Windsor actually.
Oh, wow.
Last
Welcome.
year during the pandemic, thank you. So still getting familiar with all the areas. So for everybody that I know, like I'm not originally from Canada, but I have lived in Canada most of my life.
Where are you from?
Colombia originally.
Nice.
Thank you. But yeah, I find that, you know, everybody I know, my sphere was mostly is Windsor, because that's where I was raised and that's where I did most of my life. So moving out here during a pandemic and with, you know, my daughter and my partner, like, first of all, no one's trying to meet anybody, you know, like even trying to make friends, other mom friends from daycare or anything, it's very hard. So going into it, once I'm done school, what would you recommend? Because I know like I can post on my social media and maybe word of mouth from Windsor, know someone from here. But aside from that, what would you recommend or suggest to do?
Read the book, Sell It Like Sargent.
Yes.
Right, Sargent, where he moved from Connecticut to New York City, he didn't know anybody.
Can you tell
That's
me
a
the
good one.
names first?
Sell It Like Sargent, okay? And he talks literally just about what you're experiencing and exactly what he did. And I think what he did, if I can remember, is he liked to work out, so he joined 5 different gyms.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say that.
right? He joined
Some
5
sort of
different gyms. Organic way. He talked
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
If you're from
Consider
Colombia
doing
though, like
community service and
the
stuff
thing
like
with
that.
the thing with GTA though is that we have so many beautiful festivals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find your tribe, like
Yeah.
Jasmine said, not only like your real estate tribe, but like your client tribe. Right? If you speak multiple languages, sell real estate in multiple languages. You already have a leg up on like so many people. You have so much value, so much to offer, being from a new place and coming here, right?
See, did you have something to contribute? I saw you put your hand up about it.
First question, 'cause I was in that position not too long ago.
Yeah.
About like having this feeling that you have to know everything.
Yes.
And what I learned through the training and through mentors and whatnot is it's really okay to go to your friend and be like, you know what, I don't know, let me find out.
I love that line.
Yeah.
And then Google's your best friend.
Yeah.
Or good question, we get back to you.
Yeah.
Or question, we
But
get back to
even
you.
Z about your networking, so I said to you, you need to get out and, you know, whether it's gonna be volunteer, right? Like I volunteer at the homeless shelter. And Z joined Rotary and he goes every Wednesday, he doesn't like to get up early, but he's there at 7:30 in the morning. And, you know, the first few days he was like, why did you tell me to do this? But now he goes and he's happy and he's meeting people and he's participating in the community and he's building those relationships, right? Without having to say, hey, do you want to buy or sell your house with me?
Organic,
So,
organically,
yeah.
People I normally would never have interacted with,
Yeah.
like for the majority, it's
Yeah.
elderly couples, and I walked in and they were like, why is this little kid here? Right? That's
Yeah.
like, they've all been
I love
surrounded
elderly
with
people.
big faces.
Yeah.
And just seeing people
I love elderly
help
people.
out with something and just like, oh wow, you know, this person's taking an interest in our things, why not?
Yeah.
And the conversation about real estate automatically
It
goes.
just
Just
flows.
like
Yeah.
You go to a
Yeah.
party, they're
Yeah.
talking about real estate. You go out
Yeah.
to dinner, they're talking about real
Yeah.
estate. Like can't get away from it. Real estate, right? But there is
Yeah.
a sales and communication component as well. One thing that will really supercharge your conversions, right? So if you have 100 leads, but you're only turning over one thing that will supercharge your conversion is knowing how to talk to people, right? And understanding who the person is that you're talking to.
of people,
Are they like an
definitely an art to selling.
A-dominant
Yeah, there is
person?
an
art to selling.
You know, or are they like an introvert,
Mhm.
right? If it's like an A-dominant person, then I'm gonna submit to them because that's what they want me to do.
Yeah.
Right? If it's like an introvert, then I'm gonna be really gentle with my approach.
Yeah.
Right? And that's something that you'll develop over time, but that's something that I learned selling wedding dresses and dealing with very emotional brides. Right?
Yeah, and I think what you said before, because I mean, I'm a little different in the industry, but it's the same at the end of the day in terms of, and I'm not a natural salesperson. Like I actually fell into this industry, my background's legal, and it's like you said, it's like education, it's knowing your product or knowing what you need to speak about, or whether it's people or because they were in the business of people, right? So it's just knowing that, and then it comes natural, and you just feel like, okay, you don't feel like you're selling, or you don't feel like you have to think of it.
Yeah, I love that so much. It reminds me too, like I just recently moved to Innisfil and I started 7FA, which is like it's like, you know, it's a mindset challenge basically. And I had to wake up and do a workout in the morning and a workout at night. And I'm walking through this neighborhood, I'm like, I gotta leave Jen, I gotta find business here, I just fucking moved here. Reads are dying, I gotta do this freaking walk twice a day, I don't even wanna do this. But then it was crazy because like through walking, I'm like, hey, I gotta be out here anyway. I'm about to pull every single mom out of these houses and they're coming with me.
Yeah.
So I ended up building a mom's group through 7FA, like through walking, you know, like who knows that. And then through that, you get like 3-4 referrals a year, like that are just like, hey, like we know somebody, or can somebody else be added to the group? And it's like doing those little things in your community. And you only need a few to start, and then they start referring their friends to want to do it with you.
Domino
whatever that looks like, yeah. And it's just like it's coming from contribution, I think, more, and it naturally comes to
I
you,
joined a
right?
walking group and one of my clients is actually here tonight, Colleen.
Oh,
Yeah, and she's become my friend. Good friend.
In the back, right back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, Colleen.
Bye.
She's or used to. She has a really nice boyfriend.
Question too.
Yeah.
I didn't wanna take up time from real
Yeah.
estate questions, but this is real estate that kind of related. I don't work in real estate, I work in advertising, outdoor advertising. So I kind of wanted to pick your brain a little bit, about your branding. And, you know, it's funny, I've been working in sales for 45 years. You just said it. It's no different. It really is no different, this industry and all the other industries that are in the movie industry, and in all kinds of different industries, and it's all the same. You do need to create a little bit of pain, and you also need to give information. You know, like someone was asking over here about, when do you know,
When it's too much.
like, in the book.
Yeah.
It's when you're offering them something.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, of
you're
value.
creating a little, and you're hitting that tweak of pain.
Yeah.
You know, you talked to them 6 months ago and they wanted to sell. In my case, they wanted to buy. I sell to real estate agents a lot. You've seen outdoor advertising all over the place. I work in all across North America. So there's Fort Smith, Arkansas, and there's, Peterborough. Very different markets. So I just wanted to sort of pick your brain a little bit on your branding and what you find important about.
I found my brand